it's funny because I know we do this. Oh, Wiggins makes a shot, they're up 3-1. Barnes been there, up 3-1. The reality is it's 2-2. And honestly, I think the Warriors played pretty well on Sunday. I really do. They think about this. They shot the ball well. They didn't turn it over. They were great from the foul line, and they rebounded pretty well. They just got by the Kings at home, surviving a three-point shot. That, to me, tells me the Kings aren't going anywhere. Doesn't mean the Warriors are going to lose this series, but I don't think the Kings are going away in this series.
I don't. And again, DeAaron Fox and his status and not only his availability for Game 5, which, of course, he is listed as doubtful. Does he wind up being able, between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow, figuring out a way to be able to play? Is it just a pain tolerance issue for DeAaron Fox? Is he capable of being effective, and how effective is that? If he does get out there, all of those things factor into this, and that's really where I got the question from, just running through different scenarios in my head here as far as a Warrior fan perspective on how you're feeling about the series. To me, if we knew DeAaron Fox was fully healthy and or capable of being pretty close to the player he's been in the 4 games of this series so far, there's no way in hell, if I'm a Warrior fan, I'd be thinking, quote, we got him.
Right.
But I do think maybe there are some Warrior fans that are thinking, hey, he's doubtful. If he doesn't play, well, then that's a different scenario. I would even go as far as to say, even in that scenario, Steiny, that it's not necessarily the Warriors have got him, because let's say Fox can't play in Game 5, but it's trending better over the next couple of days with this finger, the avulsion fracture, to where maybe the Warriors go in and win Game 5, but the Kings, I think, to your point about the way they played in Game 4, they've probably got confidence that with a less compromised Fox Friday than maybe tomorrow, that they could go in and win Game 6 at Chase, and then it's right back to Golden One Center in Sacramento for a Game 7 at that point, with the potential for Fox to be getting better by the day, even though I think it's pretty clear that he probably won't be 100%.
Well, and we can get into that right now, because it's funny. He suffered the injury, and he still played the last 4 or 5 minutes. He made a big shot, obviously, with the finger. I'm proceeding, JD, as if he's going to be fine. And the reason I'm doing that is because he really didn't look compromised the last 4 minutes. And so if I'm a fan watching this series, or even if I'm a Warrior fan, I'm gonna say we're going into that game, and Fox is going to be Fox, and we'll know if he's not Fox the first 6 minutes of the game. And if he's not Fox, well, we all know then the Kings are in a little bit of trouble. But for some reason, JD, and we can get into this a little bit, I think he's going to play. And I don't know to what extent he's hurt. But more importantly, forget how much he's hurt. I have no idea how effective he can be or not.
Well,
I'm assuming he's going to be effective.
And I think the Warriors have to assume that he's going to play and be effective. The Warriors can't get caught in this believing that there's a little bit of a lull and believing that he isn't going to be himself or isn't going to play to a point where that game's going to be easier, let's say.
Right. 510, no, Steiny. The Warriors made a lot of mistakes in the fourth quarter. The Warriors could have eliminated those mistakes. True. But the overall numbers of the game are pretty positive for the Warriors. Would they have 11 turnovers?
Yeah, something like that.
You take that any day of the week. Now, you don't want the ones they had late, obviously, but I think the macro of think about it. Clay shot well. Poole shot well. Curry shot well. Wiggins shot well. To me, it's just an indication that there's still a lot of work to be done for the Golden State Warriors, and Game 5 is going to be a doozy. Fox obviously got hurt. You want to do this now?
Sure.
We can do this now, JD.
Well, look, apparently I got some Kings bloggers and fans and maybe some radio hosts riled up in Sacramento. Maybe even some with the Kings organization. I don't know. Haven't heard from him yet. Maybe in the next couple of days. Talking about the reporting of the Fox injury. First off, look, I was very clear that I think Fox is legitimately hurt. So, number one, I was not in any way, shape, or form downplaying the injury, nor was I questioning DeAaron Fox's toughness. Anyone who listened to the whole clip or our entire conversation can hear that. I wasn't implying the Kings or Fox were faking the injury. I think that's kind of a joke. My point was more on the reporting and trying to generally shed light into how there can be a difference in reporting based on who reports something and the perception of either an affiliation with that person and an agency, or the fact that, and you know this from being a longtime reporter, that sometimes reporters are given news to break in part because they're going to frame it a certain way.
No doubt.
And I noted the difference in what Shams Charania had tweeted and what Woj had tweeted, and referenced Shams as a clutch guy. Now, I should be clear on that. And yesterday I probably should have said in the moment, there's a perception in the industry at times that he has pushed some clutch, things with a clutch angle. There's also Woj has done that at times, or the perception of that has been that he's done that at times as well. But he's not, I'm told, employed or repped by them. So I probably should have been clear in that. But even the Draymond Green report was one recently where people kind of went, where he reported that it was unlikely Draymond was going to get suspended. People kind of went, where's the angle there? Oh, maybe that's an angle that's pushing something from that side. So that's kind of a Warriors example recently. This was not, obviously Draymond ended up getting suspended. This was not some random conspiracy theory or questioning the injury. And I get it. Emotions are running high because of the series, and it's 2-2, and it's been heated back and forth. But I mean, I kind of leave it at that. Like, it was nobody was questioning toughness or legitimacy. Clearly, he's hurt, and obviously the Kings have said it's an avulsion fracture. So, I mean, if there's anything you want to come down my road about or anything like that, as it was a part of our conversation, that's fine. I know a lot of people went wild with it, it sounds like, in Sacramento.
Bottom line is he got hurt. They're going to he's listed right now, I guess, as doubtful. We'll see if that's upgraded to questionable. But look, the bottom line is if he's got a hurt index finger, one of two things is going to happen. He's going to play well or he's not going to play well. And then if he plays well, guess what? They can say, man, he played well with a messed up index finger. And if he doesn't play well, we might say, well, you know what? That stinks. He was compromised. What's the big deal?
And I think some took exception with the fact that I said that there was a heroic narrative being created. Like,
well, that's the NBA.
But to me, that's exactly that's like, so what? Like, if De'Aaron Fox goes out and balls in Game 5, of course it's going to be considered heroic. Like, there's nothing, like, that's just how Kings fans will view it.
Exactly.
That's how somebody may write about it. If he goes out there and is ineffective, people are going to say, hey, he has an excuse. Like, there was no compromise. Like, that's part of the deal. You play injured, you don't play well. I mean, we've seen that with the Warriors. Like, there's times where they've played through injuries, didn't play well, and some may write what would come off as an excuse as to why they were playing. So I didn't think it was something crazy or out of pocket at all, other than I did want to be clear about I was referencing the perception as it relates to certain reporters being, pushing a certain story from the side of a particular agency potentially. And look, that's not something that, even if it was going on, that's not something that the player himself would even be in on. It's like, that's what the player's got his agency and his people for. So it's not like a calculated, I think some people took it like, oh, how could you say that about De'Aaron Fox would never do that? If it did happen, De'Aaron Fox wouldn't have been part of that conversation. Like, oh, I'm trying to cook up this narrative for myself. Get out of here with that.
Steiny, I agree. The Kings made some. I think the Warriors can smell an opportunity to advance. That's a 408. Well, that's what you hope with this pedigree that we talked about all year and in the last several years, quite honestly. Let's go. Let's get started with just to see what's going on with Vern. Vern's in West Oakland. What's up, Vern? How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You're on. We loud and clear.
Oh, right on. Well, my thing is, I haven't watched the entirety of the series, so I was wondering, are the Warriors capable of double-teaming DeAaron Fox a little more than they have? Because from what I've seen, he doesn't handle it that well.
Well, you know what, Vern? How about this? Last play of the game. Kind of got double-teamed. Would you call that a double team on Fox late once he fumbled it? I watched that about 7 times last night. Yeah, go ahead.
I wouldn't really call it a double team. I just thought it was a last minute, let's get him right here type of thing.
So you're talking about kind of blitzing him on the pick and roll, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the problem. I mean, you like to do that. He's a special player, though. He's fast. He's really quick, and if he gets by that double team, forget it. Then you're done, because then he can get into the lane where he's automatic, or it feels like he's automatic during this series. Quicker the player, tougher it is to double team him. But depending on the strategy with the high,
I counted that as a double team.
I kind of thought it was too, and I'm actually surprised. Did Mike Brown say that Harrison Barnes? Did he say he wanted to flatten out with a 1-4? Which would mean that Barnes shouldn't have come up there so close.
Well, it looked like maybe there needed to be a little help. Like, that's one where maybe the play isn't to do that.
Correct. That's what I thought.
But
Barnes got to do something to help out his teammate.
But if you're watching your guy maybe lose the ball, you don't want a turnover.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to try to give him an outlet to make an easier pass. And I know you guys were talking about it yesterday, the fact that it didn't necessarily look like Fox was even going to be able to make the pass at first. But he did. And they got a great look, and Curry was flying back trying to get to Harrison Barnes. But I thought that was the quintessential. You got to give up something to try and get something, and not in a way like they thought Harrison wasn't going to make the shot. But it's like, would you rather? I mean, we talked about how exceptional Fox has been this season in the clutch. Right, that's one of the big stories of the year. He hit 2 pull-up threes to win games at the buzzer. So to me, if you're the Warriors, you weren't giving him that shot either. You know he wanted to get in between if he couldn't hit his little pull-up or his 18-footer. But in that moment, he also almost did the Steph shot where he would just take the pull-up from 26, 27. And so you couldn't give him that, and the Warriors didn't. That meant, hey, to not allow him to shoot that 3 ball, that meant that you're going to have to give up something, and the Warriors gave up the shot to Harrison Barnes, and that could have got him beat.
I feel like what happened on that play was obviously Draymond had his eyes on Fox, and he saw Fox stumble a little bit at first. He was looking to give help, but then he went to give the help when he thought, I didn't think that Draymond Green went to double because he thought Steph ever got beat on that, because he didn't. But I think he did go to double because he thought he could get a steal almost, or prevent them from even getting a shot.
And just make sure that
Fox
didn't pull up from there.
Exactly.
Because you can always take that pull-up shot as long as you think you have enough room. Now, it may not be a good shot. You may not make it.
Right.
But I think Draymond, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but I think Draymond knew Fox has hit a couple of those pull-up threes, and he didn't want him to take that shot.
I think the bottom line is Draymond may have decided, anybody but Fox. Anybody but Fox. Because, I mean, if you,
and that's smart, if you did.
If Draymond never comes on that play, he never comes, what do you think happens? I think Fox ends up taking a tough 18-20 footer.
Yeah, or even maybe he just says, forget it, I can't get by him, I'm taking the
three. Exactly. And Fox has shown that he can make big shots. I mean, the bottom line is this, and I think the clutch award's a joke. I really do. But you got to pay it some respect, because it must mean the guy's making shots late. So if DeAaron Fox has made more clutch points than anybody else, let's try not to let him
by a lot, though.
That makes sense.